open to me, and there are many adversaries. Okay, let's talk a little bit about ministry plans, or just plans. How many planners do we have in the room? Like, you got your meal plan out, you got your calendar written out for the rest of the year. Don't be ashamed, you can raise your hand, okay? All right. I love it. I need more planners around me, right? Planners we need plans. Planning is good. Now, how many of y'all just go with the flow? Like, you take it day by day. Your verse would be, don't worry about tomorrow. Jesus says tomorrow will take care of itself. There's enough trouble today to focus on, right? Tomorrow's not even promised to us. We don't even know if tomorrow's going to be here, so just let's live it up today. No. Planning is good. We need plans. A lot of times things just get chaotic if we don't have any plans, right? And the Apostle Paul was a planner. He was living intentionally. He didn't just go with the flow. Now, he did follow the Spirit, and he adjusted his plans, but notice his attitude, notice his perspective towards his travel plans. He's acknowledging something very important here, namely the sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God over all our plans. Proverbs tells us a man plans his way, but God directs his steps. The horse is made ready for battle, but victory comes from the Lord, right? Now, we have a human part in being faithful and responsible with our lives and stewarding our time well, right? Like, I want to make, like this summer, we had plans to do things with our kids. We had ministry plans for this summer. I'm thankful that we took the time ahead of time to plan those things out, the mission trip, the VBS. And they happened. And if nobody planned them, that it wouldn't have happened, right? But we must always acknowledge this in our plans, that God is sovereign over them all and he can change them, and life happens. We're not in control of every moment and every detail of our life. God is in control. And this is why James tells us that we should, when we're talking about tomorrow, we shouldn't boast about it. Come now, you who say, let's go here and travel for a year or two and do business and do this or that, but you don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. Don't you know that your life is a vapor? You ought to say, well, first he says, all such boasting is evil. It's evil. It's arrogant to boast about your plans as if you're sovereign over your life and you're the master of your fate. You know everything that's going to happen. You don't. Our lives are at the mercy of God, in the hands of God, and that's a freeing thing. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing, and Paul recognized that. Paul was committed to doing God's plans, to doing God's will. And this is what James teaches. He teaches us to say, if the Lord wills, we'll do this or we'll do that. If the Lord wills. All right? Now, this isn't like a license for passivity. Well, if the Lord wills, it'll happen. This isn't to encourage prayerlessness. If the Lord wills, that'll happen, right? Jesus taught us to pray for God's will. Intentionally pray for your will be done. We should try to plan according to God's will. Invite God in, or join in with God in planning your schedule, your ministry plans. What has God called you to do? Who has God called you to serve? Where has God called you to go? We must humbly acknowledge that we're limited as human beings, and our life is ultimately dependent upon the sovereign, merciful God. He says in verse 9, for a wide door for effective work has opened to me. Just notice that there. Paul was looking for where God was working, and he would join in with him. This whole idea of planting churches and making disciples, that was not just Paul's idea. He was commissioned and sent by Jesus. Jesus is the one who said, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples. Right? It would be arrogant of us to try to go and make disciples and mentor people and teach people about Jesus if Jesus didn't command us to do that. But he has commanded us to do that in his authority. We should make plans according to that agenda. To be disciple makers. To share the gospel with our co-workers. Plan for it. Pray for it. Ask God to give you an open door. Knock on it. See if the door will open. Ask a few questions. See if somebody, if your co